Are we rolling? Yes, we are. What's up, guys? It's your boy McKinley Crain here, and today I'm going to be doing my spoiler-free movie review of the 2014 drama horror film, Australian drama horror film, The Babadook. So, I actually watched this movie, like 6 days ago. I watched it last Monday. And I liked it. I loved it. I thought it was pretty pretty enjoyable film, a pretty intense film. I do think that it's a bit overrated though, because a lot of people who have seen this movie have called it a masterpiece, and let me just say, I don't think that this is a masterpiece of a movie. I do think that it is a great movie though. It's just not a masterpiece. It's a great movie. It's just not a perfect movie. Anyway, this movie stars Essie Davis as Amelia, who is a single middle-aged mother who is struggling with you can tell is struggling with stress and anxiety and depression, and most of it is caused by her I believe he in the film he was 6 turning 7-year-old son, Samuel. And Samuel is he's it would be an understatement to say that he's a troublemaker, because he constantly gets in trouble. He's the administrators of his school all strongly believe that he is a danger to the other children, and Samuel is in this movie purposely annoying. We're supposed to find him annoying, and we do. The people who made this movie purposely made him annoying. And he's also just a you can tell that he cares about his mother. But he's just he can be he's just very destructive. His behavior is very destructive, and that's what causes a lot of the stress that Amelia, his mother Amelia, faces in this movie. And I'm sure most parents can say, well, my child causes or caused me a lot of stress and stuff like that. It's just called parenting. Well, this is a whole nother level. This is a whole nother level of misbehaving behavior from children, from a child. This kid is Samuel in this movie. This kid is he's oh my gosh, oh my gosh, he misbehaves, oh my gosh, he's a troublemaker. Anyway, so one night, Amelia goes to read Samuel a book before bed, just like she always does. And I can't exactly remember who found it. I think it was Samuel who found the book and asked his mother to read it? Yeah, I think it was. So, like, one night, Samuel finds a mysterious book that Amelia had never seen before, nor never read to him before. And he asks her to read it to him. And that book is called The Babadook. And it's a book about a mysterious, like, monster-like man named Mr. Babadook. And, yeah, so it basically freaks Amelia out. And, it freaks Samuel out too. And, yeah, so later in the movie, like, in the middle of the movie, like, this, like, mysterious things start happening. Really, like, horrible things start happening. And, Samuel keeps telling Amelia that it's the Babadook who's doing this. And, Amelia, like, at first denies it, but then in the movie she basically starts to question whether or not it really is the Babadook who's doing all these things. And there are a lot of the things that happen, like, are so coincidental to the stuff in the book, and that, like, it's part of what makes her question what's actually going on. And this is a really good movie. It's a great movie. I really enjoyed it. It has some very strong acting from both Essie Davis and Noah Wiseman, especially from Essie Davis. In my opinion, Essie Davis gives the best performance in this movie, even though the whole cast is great. And Noah Wiseman gives a close second performance. It's just, there's all the acting in this movie is strong acting. It's not perfect acting. It's not masterpiece like 10 out of 10, 100% acting. But it is great acting. And the story in this movie is great too. It's not perfect, but it's great. The pacing is also great. There's nothing wrong with the pacing. It's just not perfect pacing. But it is great pacing. Some might call this pacing, to some people, this pacing might be like, considered slow pacing. But, like, it's the good kind of slow pacing. Like, the necessary kind of slower pacing, if you know what I mean. That this movie needs. Like, that certain movies need. And including this one, this movie needed that kind of pacing to work, and it did. This movie, it kind of, like, dives into, like, like psychology and stuff, into, like, themes of psychology and stuff like that. Well, this movie's themes kind of, like, dive into psychology and stuff like that, and, like, hidden meanings and stuff like that. There's, like, a few themes in this movie about hidden human nature, like human nature, and, like, how well we actually know ourselves. And there's also some like themes of, like, self-control, and like what causes us to go over the edge, and where we draw the line. Anyway, and it's just a really great, thrilling movie that can be really shocking at some times, but, like, shocking in a good way, and just intense and unsettling, but in a good way at some times. Like, this movie needed those intense and unsettling moments to, like, work, and it benefits the movie, and this is a great movie. and this movie is very thrilling. It's very compelling. Um, the ending is very satisfying. This movie is it's not a lighthearted movie at all. It's a very dark movie. It's a very dark and intense movie. But like that's a good thing. You know, lighthearted movies are great, and dark movies are great. It just depends on the movie. And it just depends on what the movie needs, and this movie needed to be dark, and it was. And this movie has a very bizarre story, and a bizarre and creative story, but bizarre and creative in a good way. And I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. It's not everyone's kind of movie, but it is my kind of movie. And I love this movie. It's a great movie. And, I would definitely recommend watching it if you're into this kind of stuff. Anyway, I'm going to give this movie an 86% out of 100%, which is the equivalent of an A-. Like, subscribe, join the notification squad. I will return.